our mission where we are checking out which is the best woman for you. Recently I got a couple of questions about the Mooer GE300, which is the modeling unit which I use live currently. And as you may know, I'm creating preset packs for all the modeling units on the market. If you would like to get one of these, please contact me, links in the description below. But somehow I didn't change my modeling unit for a couple of years now that I use live. Although I have the quad Cortex and the Fractal Audio FM9, I'm really happy with the GE300, especially in a live situation. And it comes with a lot of features which I find very useful. But the questions which I got most about that unit is basically about the sound. And if it's easier to get good tones out of this unit than, for example, with the Valeton GP-200 or with the NUX MG-30. So I decided to bring this from a rehearsing space. So here we have the editor. And currently I'm playing a preset which I use live. As you can hear, there's a lot of delay going on. So this is something which I'd use for leads, for some spacey lead tones. But let me show you just the dry tone without the delay. It may sound a little bit dark to you, but trust me, in a live situation, that is exactly the tone that it's really fed through a huge PA system. I proved that a lot of times when using that, and I'm using one preset for one song. So you can see all the songs which we're playing currently here and a lot more, but this is basically the distorted tone which I use in all the presets where I need distorted tones, with slight adjustments depending on the song. But so let me show you that first. What I'm using, it's nothing fancy, it's just the 808, and here I'm dialing out a little bit of the mids because fortunately all these pedals here, they're a lot coming with the unit. As you can see, 35 currently. They come with an EQ, and I found this to be a little bit honky, so I dialed out some mids. This pedal. And also playing my Harley Benton Fusion, play around with the output here to adjust the amount of gain. So I usually ended up with these settings here. The amp which I'm using is the channel 4 of the VH4. And that leads me to the first question which I got, how easy or difficult it is to get good tones here. As you can see, gain at default setting 50, bass 50, treble 50, master 50, preamp 100, mode original. So what I just did is reduce some mids because I found it a little bit too mid heavy. That's maybe because of also the mid boost in front of the amp. So dialed some mids out. And I reduced some presence frequencies, but honestly, it doesn't do that much. So it seemed to be a little bit too much for me, especially in this song I'm playing live, so I reduced it. The bias is something also doesn't do that much to the tone, as you can hear. So it's basically almost the default settings, except that I use the tube emulation here for 606s. That makes a huge difference. If I turn that off, then sorry. It's a lot louder, and also you get a lot more highs. The EL34s have a little bit too much high mids for my taste. I use that also sometimes in live when playing live, but I switch to the 606s, which have the most well-balanced tone, and cutting off somehow the lows and the highs. And as you can see here, you have also quite a lot of amps, 100 something, and also you can add new ones, which I did here. And there are also lots of high gain amps, so you can play around with these. What I sometimes do is when I don't need that much gain, I'm choosing another one of this, another channel of the same amp. As you can see here, channel 3 sounds exactly the same, just with less gain. Also channel 2. That is also very helpful in a live situation. You have 4 channels of the same amp. This is a very good amp in my opinion. Good amp simulation. And you have, then you can use it. It doesn't change the EQ curve of your sound. So let's go back to that. The cap which I'm using is also the one which I like best, of course. You have stock caps here, also a lot. But also you can load your own impulse responses. For example, I don't know, maybe I will show you later the difference. But I got better results using the stock cap here, which is the 50-50 12, and just the SM57. There is the option of using another mic here, but as you can see somewhere, where is it? Output reflection. Not that familiar with the PC editors. Sorry, here. As you can see, I put the mix here to mic 1 so that nothing is coming from mic 2. Just the SM57. Everything is 0 here. Center and distance. You can use this also to reduce some highs if you found it too harsh. But the SM57 is also removing mids, so contributing well in many situations where you have a very mid-focused tone and you would like to reduce some of the mids. And what is also very important is the high cut here and the low cut. So if you remove that, you might be closer to a recording tone, but in a live situation I found it to be very useful to use it at these settings. Again, it's also depending a little bit on the song. There are songs which where I was using a little bit of a darker tone. So let's, for example, choose one of these, which turn the page. Basically the same high cut, but presence at 0. But other than that, it's basically the same tone. And there is the option of using an EQ, but it's everything at 0 here, so as you can see I don't need it. And that is how I use that unit, and in a comparison to the NUX MG-30, which is really hard to dial in my opinion, this is way easier. It sounds kick-ass even at stock settings. I was playing around with the settings a lot, but I always ended up with these minor cosmetic changes to the stock setting. And let me show you something which I use where I'm using a little bit of more crunchy tone or with less gain. So let's check that out. Also the EQ, everything at 0. Amp section, same amp, less gain, no presence, same cab. Also here I think similar tone. And it's not the most dynamic amp emulation here in the unit. At least that's what I heard people say. But in my opinion, it has everything you need, especially with these tones. AC/DC crunch, but also almost cleanish. I'm picking very soft. Also, I was playing a little bit of a lead improvisation in this song, where I was using the same sound like when I'm playing rhythms. It's perfect, really. And also, what I recognized is that, especially with the Fractal audio products, there's always a little bit of background noise when you are chugging and keeping your hand here on the bridge. I don't know where that is coming from. I've experienced that only with the Fractal audio products. And as you can hear now, it's dead quiet. And of course there is a noise gate which I'm using here. But it's basically for the background noise. And so the noise gate is also working really well. Never had any problems with that unit, to be honest. So that is basically the reason why I use it live. And as I said, I use one preset for one song usually. So here we have something which, of course, I'm using a clean tone. Playing the split mode on my neck humbucker. And you can see here what I'm using. EQ, everything at 0 even. Compression, which has also an EQ, very helpful. And chorus, of course. And then for the solo, of course, and that's basically everything I showed you before. The 808, the amp here, and the cab. And that is also something which I appreciate very much. You can assign controls to each of the foot switches. So you have basically 10 foot switches on the unit, and 2 are for bank up and down, which I use a lot live because if you push on these, then you can see the preset list and go up and down in the preset list. So if I'm looking for a song, then I would just check the list, and you can do this with your feet. Very helpful. But the other 8 foot switches which are left, you can assign randomly to, or you can assign them to turn on different blocks or turn off different blocks. So usually when I'm within one patch, I use this control mode, where when I hit one button, then as you can see here from clean to lead, compressor is disabled, but instead the distortion, amp and cap block are enabled. And I have some other presets where of course I have a different I'm using different sounds, of course. So let me see. This maybe it's just the rhythm tone, and then the lead tone is just engaging the delay, and the delay also has an output which you can use to raise the volume. So I use that a lot, very helpful if you would like to have a louder tone. Also you have the expression pedal, which I don't use a lot, but I think in some songs I use it where I'm using a little bit of a louder volume just within some parts of the verse. I think especially here in the turn the page, as you can see it's enabled, and goes from this to this position. And especially when I'm playing the slide, this crank it a little bit, then reduce the volume. I'm playing just the rhythm parts of the verse. So that is very helpful. Another feature which I mentioned before is that each of the blocks here in the distortion, or also here the compressors, that come with an additional EQ, which you could also use. Also here in the FXA section, you have can also choose another boost, or some of the boosts which come in the boost block. Also you could choose of course your modulation effects, but also I think an EQ, or low pass filters. Here you could also choose an EQ, and also you can choose another delay. So you don't have the one EQ block and the one delay block where you can choose from. You could also use some different delays, which I also do in some presets here. For example, I think this one, I have one tone where this delay here is engaged. I switch to another, and then another delay is engaged, which is here, this one, and that is basically the rhythmic delay. And also, where is it? I have some songs where I'm using a little bit of another tone, another amp model. Actually, it's only one. Here I'm using the UK30. The split neck humbucker. But I could get a similar tone with the channel 2 of the VH4 amp model. I was just playing around with the Vox here and I liked the results, so kept it. And it fulfills everything I need, this unit. So that was the reason why I don't switch to another. I was playing around and thinking using the quad Cortex or using the GT-1000, which I also own. But always I ended up with this unit. In a direct comparison, I couldn't get a better tone with the other units, so very nice. Of course, it's MIDI controllable, has a MIDI in and MIDI out, so I'm pairing this with my loop station, and I'm using this here basically to change the presets, and then the loop station is triggered with the MIDI out of this unit to go to another preset. And the reason is that here you have this beautiful list on the unit where you can scroll with the up and down button, and also I think you cannot see it here, but if you put on this up and down and the list appears, then you have basically the other 8-foot switches, which are assigned to the 8 to select one of the 8 showed presets. And then you can go up, and then the next bank with other 8 presets will appear. So very flexible. I think they did a great job. I don't know why this unit is very often overlooked, because it's also not expensive. It sounds kick-ass and very easy to dial in good tones. I hope this helps you to understand this unit, and if you would like to get the best presets or best tones for that unit, of course you could get my preset pack. Please contact me, links in the description below. See you.